China didn't issue a warning. They launched 56 anti-ship missiles in a single coordinated strike, aimed directly at a U.S. aircraft carrier. In minutes, the most powerful naval force on Earth was staring down destruction. This wasn't intimidation, this was an attempt to erase American naval dominance in one brutal blow. But the ocean didn't go quiet. It erupted into a high-tech war of reaction speed, layered defenses, and life-or-death choices, all unfolding before the world could even understand what was happening. And it all began on a night that was supposed to be routine, until the radar screamed alive.
The night over the South China Sea was calm, the kind of silence sailors grow used to on long patrols. Carrier Strike Group 7 moved steadily through contested waters, maintaining formation, every ship following protocol. At 2:14 a.m., the Combat Information Center aboard the carrier monitored the usual traffic: merchant vessels, fishing boats, and distant aircraft. Routine, predictable, safe. Then the first anomaly appeared. A CIC operator frowned as a single fast-moving blip streaked across the SPY-1 radar screen. Then another, and another. Within seconds, dozens of new contacts burst over the horizon simultaneously. They were low, fast, and coming in from multiple vectors. This wasn't random. It was synchronized. "Confirm track," an officer ordered. The room held its breath. Analysis came back cold and sharp. Multiple missile launches originating from land batteries, naval vessels, and long-range bombers. Alarms exploded throughout the ship. Red lights flashed. The calm ocean instantly became a battlefield. This was no exercise, no warning shot. China had launched a saturation strike, 56 anti-ship ballistic and cruise missiles designed to overwhelm every layer of defense. The carrier's commanding officers snap into action. Set general quarters, all hand-man battle stations, activate defensive protocols, full alert across the strike group. Every destroyer, cruiser, and escort ship lit up their systems. E-2D Hawkeye aircraft were already in the sky, feeding critical data back to the fleet. The question was no longer what was happening, it was how long did they have? Missiles trembling at Mach 2 and above meant minutes, maybe less, before impact. The most advanced naval force on Earth was now in the crosshairs of a storm. How do you stop 56 missiles heading straight for you?
The moment the first alarm sounded, the destroyers flanking the carrier snapped into lethal efficiency. USS John Paul Jones and USS Lake Erie, both equipped with AGVIS Baseline 9, locked onto incoming threats within seconds. Their combat systems tracked dozens of missile signatures, high, low, weaving, diving, all closing fast. 02:16 a.m., first intercept window. VLS cells hot SM-2s away. Vertical large systems roared open like volcanic vents, hurling SM-2 interceptors into the sky, followed moments later by the more advanced SM-6s. Each missile arced upward like a white-hot spear guided by radar data streaming from the E-2D Hawkeye high above the fleet. The night sky erupted. One by one, Chinese missiles blossomed into fireballs at 100-plus miles out, shredded before they could descend. Operators cheered, briefly, because for every missile destroyed, two more appeared behind it. The E-2D relayed targeting information across the entire strike group, allowing every ship to fire in perfect coordination. It was a moving wall of defenses, precision synchronized to the millisecond. "New wave incoming, multiple altitude profiles," shouted an operator. Some missiles stayed high to avoid the sea-skimming interceptors, others hugged the ocean surface to slip under radar. The saturation tactic was brutal. Overwhelm, confuse, breakthrough. Missile after missile was intercepted mid-flight, detonating in blazing spears over the water. But then, a warning no one wanted to hear. Several targets half-broken the outer shield. The outer shield was cracking. Inside the CIC, tension spiked. Interception windows shrunk to seconds. Operators' hands hovered over firing and controls. Sweat beaded, voices sharpened. Every decision now had to be perfect. One mistake could cost the carrier and thousands of lives. What happens when the outer shield begins to crack?
The moment the outer defenses buckled, the battle turned savage. Missiles that survived the SM-2 and SM-6 intercepts began their terminal dives, screaming toward the strike group at Mach 2+, some dropping almost vertically, others sea-skimming just feet above the water. They were close, too close. CIWS to full auto, engage! A deafening mechanical whine cut through the ship as the phalanx CIWS, the last line of defense, spun up. In an instant, the 20mm Gatling gun unleashed 4,500 tungsten rounds per minute, firing tracer streaks into the night. Brrrr! One missile exploded mid-air, then another, but there were dozens. From escort ships, ESSM Block 2 missiles rocketed upward, targeting threats slipping through gaps in coverage. Every notch shook the decks, every impact lit the sky orange. The air crackled with raw energy. Electronic warfare suites came online, blasting the incoming missiles with jamming signals. Some threats veered off course and plunged harmlessly into the sea, deceived by false radar ghosts. But others stayed locked. On the carrier's deck, sailors felt the shock waves as explosions burst, frighteningly close to the hull. The blast pressure-rattled bulkheads. The sea churned with white foam and burning fragments. Due inbound, range under 2 miles. CIWS reloading. Deploy decoys, launch chav. Countermeasures fired like fireworks. Clouds of metallic strand confusing guidance systems. One missile took the bait and missed. The second did not. It kept coming. The carrier brazed. Every second felt like an eternity. Every eye watched that single missile tearing through the dark toward the heart of American naval power. Will even one missile slip through and cripple the carrier?
The last missile vanished in a flash of CWIS fire, but no one celebrated. The carrier had survived by seconds. Now it was time to strike back. Identify every launch point, the carrier commander ordered. High above the formation, the E-2D Hawkeye swept the battle space with its powerful radar, tracing the attack back to its origins. Blips appeared across the map. Coastal batteries, warships, long-range bombers, even disguised cargo vessels. Then another feed chimed in. From beneath the waves, a U.S. attack submarine transmitted sonar data, enemy destroyers lurking beyond the horizon, preparing for a second strike. The pieces snapped together. China had launched from land, sea, and air in a coordinated tri-branch assault. Not again. Authorized counterstrike. 02:25 a.m. Retaliation begins. The ocean roared as Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles erupted from U.S. destroyers, climbing into the night before diving toward enemy launch sites with pinpoint GPS accuracy. Each one carried over 1,000 miles of strike range, and they were into the heart of the threat. The carrier launched F-18E Super Hornets. Afterburners blazed as they soared into the sky. Seconds later, EA-18G Growlers followed, ready to jam NA radar, blind air defenses, and clear the way for precision strikes. Targets lit on every screen. Most mobile missile launchers hidden along the coast. Command centers buried in hardened bunkers. Warship maneuvering to fire a second salvo. Horn missiles away. The Super Hornets unleashed anti-radiation missiles, zeroing in on enemy radar systems at blistering speed. Explosions rippled across the coastline as China's weakening them began to collapse. In minutes, the battlefield flipped. What started as a desperate defense had become a relentless offense. The Pacific lit up with fire on land and sea. The message was clear. You tried to overwhelm us. Now we hunt you. But the question loomed over every command station. Is the counterstrike enough to stop a second barrage?
The missiles stopped, not because China ran out, but because their launch sites were burning. The U.S. carrier still floated, its flight deck scarred by near misses, but still operational. Damage control teams moved fast. Pilots returned to the deck with empty pylons and silent faces. They knew how close disaster had come. Across the Indo-Pacific, every nation watched in shock. A U.S. carrier nearly destroyed in minutes. Within 1 hour of the attack, Allied Pacific Fleet surged into new positions. Destroyers and submarines fanning out across 3,000 miles of ocean. Air bases in Japan, Guam, and Australia went to high alert. The message was silent but clear. If this war expands, we must be ready. Inside intelligence circles, a chilling realization spread. This wasn't just an attack, it was a test. China had probed the limits of American layered defenses, measuring reaction time, interception success, and battle doctrine. The world now understood the next strike would be even smarter and even deadlier. Yet China remained silent. No statement, no claim, no denial. That silence was louder than any threat. Military analysts warned global leaders. The age of slow wars is over. Conflicts will be decided in minutes. Diplomats scrambled, allies fortified, rival powers watch with interest. On the deck of the carrier, sailors looked to the horizon, unsure if the night was truly over, or if this was just the opening move of something far bigger. Is this the first battle, or just the warning shot?
In less than 15 minutes, 56 missiles nearly rewrote global power. Only the U.S. Navy's layered defenses, relentless coordination, and rapid counterstrike prevented catastrophe. But this battle proved a chilling truth. Future wars won't unfold over weeks. They'll be decided in minutes. The world just witnessed the most advanced naval shield ever tested, and it held. Yet everyone knows the next attack will be faster, smarter, and far more dangerous. If this is what the first strike looked like, what will the next one bring? Subscribe to stay sharp on modern naval warfare, global defense strategy, and the battles shaping our future, because the oceans are no longer quiet.